Hi everyone, welcome to vlog 13. Don't forget to smash this like. Wait, let me do it again. Wait, let me do it again. Let me go over here. Let me go over here. Hi everyone, welcome to vlog 13. Don't forget to like and smash the subscribe button below. Bless.
Ah yes, those beautiful balcony views of Sydney. Anyway, I have this pretty nice one-bedroom studio apartment all to myself. I'm gonna close this up, it's really noisy. For the night, I know there's a lot of, videographers and photographers out there who just fly in, fly out the day of production, but I hands down think I'm the sleepiest person in the whole entire world. I'm so tired, purely just from flying. Mind you, the flight was like 58 minutes. It's probably the shortest the shortest flight time from Melbourne to anywhere in Australia, and I'm still so freaking exhausted. So kudos to people who do it same day when they're doing a big production. So yeah, I have that agency job tomorrow, and I packed pretty light. All I brought was cameras, and I'm hiring Joe to basically be the gaffer and bring all of the other equipment that I need, like light stands and tripods and stuff. So I worked with Joe earlier this year on a campaign that he shot for one of his clients down in Melbourne, and I basically just did the same thing for him. I think I prefer that over trying to fluff around with a rental house. There's only one time where I've had to use a rental house, when I went and did a shoot in New Zealand for F45. My God, it was such a mess around, but I just didn't have anybody in that particular part of New Zealand. I think it was Christchurch. I didn't have anyone or any connections there to just hire as an assistant and help with bringing along the gear, so I had to hire it all. But yeah, it's not my favorite thing to do because it just tacks on so much travel time. This is the space we're working with. The client has requested we shoot against this, and this is kind of going to be the positioning. Wall's going to be in a bit of an angle. It's not my preferred positioning. My preferred positioning is straight down here, but we'll do a test, see what that looks like, change to this if we need. But we ended up shooting across the table because the table couldn't be moved, and that way we got the blinds in like the client wanted, but we also got the flat background like I wanted, because I knew that there was only one camera, and if I'm zooming in, zooming out slightly, I really just want the background to be as least distracting as possible. In an ideal world, I would have moved the table, but it was completely unmovable. A lot of the time that is kind of just the case with these corporate shoots. So we also couldn't turn any of the lights off in this room. So we color matched our key light and our backlight to be the same color temperature as the overheads. And then I got Joe just to tape up the two overheads that were directly above our talent, just so they weren't going to cause any shadows or any hot spots on his head. All in all, the shoot went really well. This particular person, when they were talking on camera, he just had this habit of tilting his head up. So every 2 seconds I have to keep saying, tilt your head down. But he did a really great job. He got through all of these videos within probably about 4.5 hours. We made him do a lot of different takes just because we wanted him to present it with the best tone and best facial expressions as well throughout. But it was great. We had someone there from the company who pretty much was just listening to the scripts, listening to his tone, and just redirecting him and getting him to say the words exactly how they wanted. So I love when there's someone from the client and just on set to help direct those things, because they obviously know what they want the final output to look like. This was Liv and Steph from Scooter. You would have seen Liv did the intro at the start of the video. They were so much fun to work with. And what I did was I set up my iPad with the Sony monitor and control app just as a bit of a director's monitor, so that they could just visually see what it looks like without having to stand behind the camera. Alright, it's Friday now, and this is my second shoot of the week. I'm shooting drone for my local council. They're doing some redevelopments on a few local parks, and so they're just getting me out to capture some video and photo of the before phase, and then in about a year and a half's time, I'll come back out and use the same waypoints to capture new video and photos so that can sort of show that, you know, that transition, and the content's gonna look like the framing and the positioning is all gonna look the exact same. So, all right, I'm back at the park. I got home. Let me make sure that's recording. It is. I got home and had a look at the photos, and they just didn't take properly. So when I was like taking photos along the waypoints, the drone like didn't stop at each waypoint to take the photo. And so they're all really blurry. So I did some Googling and I found out there's a way that you can actually make it pause and hover at each waypoint, take the photo. So I'm gonna try that, but I'm also going to just increase my shutter to reduce some of that motion blur because the photos right now are pretty unusable. So I'm pretty happy that I live very close to the place and I was able to just drive out here and I didn't, you know, need to request client access or anything. So anyway, when I got home, I tried to access the waypoints, the flight paths on the drone so that I could back them up just in case something goes wrong and I lose the waypoints. So I've done that, and so now I have a backup. If something goes wrong, all right, let's do it. It's a lot brighter now, which is also like not ideal because the photos are gonna look completely different to the original video footage. But at least it's a lot brighter now, so I can just crank my shutter speed really high to remove like any and all of that motion blur. All right, gonna go fly to the first path-ish. And then just shoot it. All right, I'm gonna go in the shade so I can actually see my controller. I noticed whenever I vlog in public, I turn into like this monotone robot. Anyway, you can watch. All right, waypoints, no, yes, old ones, cool. I know this was number 1, so let's do that. All right, waypoint 1, take photo. Can I move along? Hover, oh fuck yes, let's go. Let's go 5-second hover. That's nice. All right, what else have I got? No camera, no photo there, no photo there, no photo there. All right. Like I said before, I'm very grateful that I actually live pretty close to this location, so it's not like too much of an effort to come here, because there's nothing worse than like, so to be able to just come here by myself, not have to fuck around the client, not have to like let the client know I fucked up, and instead be able to just send them everything looking perfect and then let them know I reshot it because the photos weren't like up to scratch. They're gonna be impressed as hell. They're not gonna be like, oh, Rachel did a shit job. They're gonna be impressed. So, very glad this is how it's panned out. I always find it really hard doing any sort of tests when I'm flying a drone in terms of like, you know, let's say you're trying a new, I don't know, new lens, right? New lens at home, boom, easy. You just walk around and shoot it. I always really struggle when I'm trying something new on a drone to do a test. And I think because it is like, you have to be in such an open field and be able to see the drone and be safe about it. But like, it's also weather dependent. So it's time dependent. It's not like an easy thing that you can test around. But I would like to let you know that shooting waypoints on the drone is so freaking easy. I'm gonna put a link in the description to the video that I actually watched. This guy explained it so incredibly clear and so straight to the point, and you can set up waypoints on the location as you go, or you can preset them up without having to be there, which is a huge time saver and battery saver if you're needing to set up these waypoints before the shoot. And yeah, and there is a lot of settings that you can change within the actual like parameters. Like I could change every single sort of camera setting in terms of like drone setting, in terms of drone height, the angle of the camera, all of that stuff. And I've now just found that you can also hover when it gets to each waypoint to either take a photo. I have noticed though that when you do make any changes to the waypoint and then you go to save and exit it, it overwrites the original settings. So for the first round of flights that I did was just video, and I didn't have any sort of pausing at the waypoints because I wanted it to be like one smooth video. But now I've gone back and done photos and paused it. When I go to do that flight again, it's gonna pick up those same waypoints, which is great. Sorry, I mean pick up those same settings, which is great because then I know which ones I've taken the photos at. But anyway, really cool stuff.